And my dad, when he passed, I took the meditations, the Graceful Crossings with me, and I played those for my dad in the hospital. And my whole family was there, and they all said, no, what's the music or what's this? But it calmed him down, and it really was such a blessing for me. And that was where, with my dad, just I would play it in the background, and I would have memories or different things would come up. And that was the dearest, the closest I ever felt to my dad.
Yeah.
I would play the tape, and then at night, my whole family would gather around him, and they would do almost like a campfire and tell dad stories, and just such a beautiful passing. But I got too attached, and I could see that. And as John and I were there when he crossed over, and there was this beautiful light. It was quite an experience with me and my sister, but I wasn't strong enough to hold my own space, to know who I was. And I actually got stuck. And I can tell you that from my own experience, that death space is one breath away. It's just a breath away. And I got stuck there, and thank goodness, always fortuitous moments. We had a program with Moss that night, and he looked at me, and he looked me in the eye, and he said, oh my God, where have you been? What happened? And he said, you're in a death space. And then I told him that my dad had passed away, and he got me back on track. And then he also, made sure that my dad was in the right place. So I had the best of intentions, but I did not have the understanding or the training about how to actually do that type of graceful crossing with my dad. So once again, Moss was able there. And then when my mom passed, she actually had an awakened death. And then I happened again to have a session with Moss right after it. And he said, oh my gosh, Susan, your mom is here. And I said, yeah, and she said, he described her, and I still get like teary-eyed and just so joyous. He said, she is so relieved and thrilled and to be and she had an awakened passing.
Yeah.
And she's just here. And he said, and you'll experience her every once in a while. She can't stay for long, but you will experience like a breath of light and love. You'll experience your mom as she passes through, just to give you a blessing. And there are moments with both of my parents where it's just this fleeting, lovely, enchanting breath of just a blessing and a joy. And I know that they're okay. But there's another very interesting story during our journey with Moss in regarding death. John had a very dear friend that passed away up in Northern California, and we were invited to the funeral. And I met Kevin at our wedding, but I didn't really have a connection or relationship with him. And we went to the funeral and came home. And that night there was a global healing. And so I called in. I very rarely got called on, but I was like the second caller. It was so amazing. I went, oh my gosh, this is great. Hi, Moss. And he goes, what's going on with your neck? And I said, well, I don't know. He goes, oh, wait a minute. It's not you. And he proceeded to describe my husband's friend to a T, how he passed, all these different, described his personality. And John was sitting next to me going, yeah, that's it exactly. And he described his death. He described his alcoholism and his issues and things that had happened. And it was him that had wanted so much to talk to Moss that through me, he had just had and that's what Moss said. It was just such a strong need to talk to you, to connect with you. And he said, I could not take your call. And he connected with Kevin and
Yeah.
cleared him and blessed him on his way and said all kinds of just sweet, precious.
And he said, yeah, he was really a nice, sweet guy. And when he described the death to her, we'd already found out about how he'd passed away from his family. And he was like, to a T, explained what happened.
So for one of the most important things, one of the most important journeys and learnings with Moss was understanding that we do not know how to die in this society.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't have a clear total understanding of it. It's still more to learn with this. But as far as a pattern and a conditioning, and I know that John and I will have a very different death and passing than our parents did.
Yeah.
We're having a very different retirement in the 60s than our parents did.
Yeah.